What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. And today I'll be going through my 2021 AFL Finals predictions ahead of the up and coming 2021 AFL Finals. So yeah, it's going to be a massive video. Obviously, I'll be going through every game, and then eventually I'll be going over who I think will win the flag this year. Now, if you want to see my weekly predictions, I posted my week 1 finals predictions yesterday. So if you want to have a look at my predictions in a little bit more detail for those games, you can go check that out. First game that we've got in the finals is the first qualifying final between Port Adelaide and Geelong on the Friday night. Now, these two sides played each other in the qualifying final last year, and obviously the Power got the job done, and I feel like this one could go in a similar way. You know, they're going to have 15,000 screaming Power fans. There's not going to be many Cat supporters out there to support them. I feel like that could just give them the edge over the Cats, and as of late, the Power have been arguably the best side in the comp. I think they've won something like 7 of the last 8 games, and I'm pretty sure they've won their last 6 on the trot, so they're in some really good form coming into the finals. Obviously finished second. They're playing in front of a home crowd, and I just have a feeling they're going to get the job done. The Cats, they don't always perform. They don't always perform on the big stage of the finals. We all know that. I'm going to go Port here in this one. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a good, fierce contest, obviously with the finals intensity, but I'm going to tip the Power to win this one by 9 points. And the second game, we've got Sydney v GWS, first elimination final on the Saturday. The Swans coming into the finals campaign with a really good win against the Suns, and they've been really impressive. They've been one of the better sides in the comp, arguably, you know, in the last 10 weeks have been probably a top 4 side. Franklin, Heaney, Papley, they're going to come out firing. They're going to kick a big score, you would expect. And the Giants, well, they've, you know, finished the season off in style. You know, the Giants are the sort of team that can, on any given day, pull off a really remarkable result. Like, at their best, the Giants could beat any side. But at the Giants' worst, we all know that they can lose to the bottom 4. You know, they lost to North, they lost to Hawthorn. So you'd expect, you know, a big finals campaign against a rival in Sydney. This is, I think, the 3rd time these two sides have played in a final. They've been a lot better side this year overall as a consistent. And I just have a feeling the Swans will, you know, sort of get a bit of an edge over the Giants early on. And from there, they hold the game out and win the game quite comfortably. I'm going to tip the Swans to win this one by 30 points. And then the next game, we've got the second qualifying final between Melbourne and Brisbane. This is going to be a massive clash. These two sides faced off earlier in the year in what was looking to be one of the games of the round. We all know that late in the game, the D's overran the Lions, so they've got the edge over the two sides as of late. Now, the D's are the best side defensively this season, whilst the Lions are the best attacking side, so it's going to be quite an interesting contest. You know, who's going to prevail, the attacking or the defending? And I think this game's going to be one of the closest games you'll see in a final. I'm going to go for a little bit of an upset, as in my video yesterday. I'm going to predict the Lions to get a hold of the D's in this one and win the game by just 1 point, moving into a home preliminary final. And the last game of week 1, we've got the second elimination final between the Western Bulldogs and Essendon. And a few weeks ago, I didn't even think the Bombers were going to make the finals, and I thought for sure the Dogs would lock in at least a top 4 spot. But here we are, how things have changed. And with the form that the Dons are in, they're definitely going to believe themselves that they can win this one. They beat them 3 weeks ago. If they can play the same way, stop the Bulldogs midfield, they've been very, very poor in the last 4 weeks compared to their first 6. You never know what might happen. I have a feeling this will be a bit of a shootout like the Dons like to play. They always like to play in shootouts. Very little margin for error now for the Dogs. They've only got the 1 chance. So I'm going to tip the Dogs to win this one by 12 points. In the first semi-final, we've got Melbourne take on the Western Bulldogs. I don't know if this will be played at Adelaide Oval or Optus. I guess just time will tell what happens there. But obviously, these two sides, you could say, were probably the best sides in the comp for the first 11 weeks of the season. You know, always battling out between second and first. We all know that game in round 11 or round 10, I think it was. It was hyped up to be one of the games of the season. And the D's just, you know, outplayed the Dogs, and the Dogs look second rate in that game. But obviously, in the second meeting, in the second outing, the Dogs got the chocolates. The two teams are 1-1 coming into this one. It's going to be quite a tough one. I just feel like the D's have just been a better side overall this year, and I don't think they'll go out in straight sets. That's why they've made the top 4 for a reason. They finished first. I can't see them losing this one. The Dogs obviously have a sniff here. If they played, you know, like they did against the Dogs earlier this season, you never know, they might steal a win here. But I reckon the D's should get the job done and should move on to the preliminary finals by 22 points will be my margin. And the second semi-final, we've got Geelong taking on the Sydney Swans. Now, in round 7, these two sides faced off. And the Swans, you could argue, stole victory from the jaws of defeat. A very controversial decision should have led to a cat's skull at the end. But, yeah, the Swans got the win against these two sides. But overall this year, I feel like the Cats have just been a little bit more consistent. But you could say a couple of weeks ago that these two sides were the most informed sides in the comp. Not too sure about this one though. You know, the Swans, I said earlier, they could be a dark horse. I could easily see them making prelims or even the granny if they come out firing and they, play their best footy. But as I said, with the Ds, it's just going to be, I just don't see the Cats going out in straight sets with how good they've been this season. You could argue that they've been the best side in the comp. I reckon they've definitely got the best list in the comp. And if they drop this, they're going to be kicking themselves. It's just another wasted opportunity, wasted season. The Cats have a little bit more experience, obviously, in the finals with the Swans, the young list. I don't know how long their run is going to last. I have a feeling it will end in this game and the Cats will get the job done. But it will be a close game. I reckon it'll be quite a high-scoring, free-flowing, exciting game. The Cats get the job done, win it by 9 and move to the prelims. So now we've got the preliminary finals. We've got the first game, Brisbane taking on Geelong. Brisbane taking on Geelong. You'd think that this game would be played at the Gabba, just like it was last year in the preliminary final between the two sides. It's going to be a tough one. Obviously, early this season, the Lions just had all the answers for the Cats. You could say that was probably their worst game they played all year. The Lions dominated them all around the ground. You'd think this is their chance finally to get it right and make a grand final. But at the same time, the Cats also need to get things right. They haven't won a flag since 2011, and they've made the top 4 that many times. You would think that they can finally get the job done themselves. I have a feeling on their day, though, the Cats are just a little bit better. Quickly on the Lions, their last 3 weeks, whilst they were very good, they weren't against the greatest sides. Obviously being the Dockers, the Pies, and the Eagles, who all missed out on the 8. The Cats, they've been quite impressive all around against the top sides. We all know they lost against the Ds, but I just have a feeling that the Cats, a little bit better, they'll get their mojo going in this one and they'll win the game by 25 points. The second preliminary final, we've got Port Adelaide taking on Melbourne at the Adelaide Oval. This is another big game. Obviously, they're all big games, but for both sides, I think the last time that any of these two sides made the granny is in 2007. So regardless of the result, we're going to have a team make the grand final that we haven't seen for a while. The Ds, you know, historically this season have been very impressive against the top 8 sides. They've only lost 1 game against the top 8 side this season, and that was against the Dogs. Whilst the Power, they have still remarkably yet to beat a top 4 side. They did beat the Dogs in the last game of the season, but they fell out of the top 4. So technically they haven't yet beaten a top 4 side, but they've beaten literally every team below them. So you can't really fault them on that, but I just feel like the Ds, They beat them early this season. They know how to win games at Adelaide Oval. They know how to play against the Power. They'll have a little bit of form going their way after that win against the Dogs. And in one of the games of the final series, there are going to be a few close ones, let me tell you that. But I'm going to go the Ds to win this one by 3 points to advance into the grand final. And the two teams that I'm predicting to make the grand final are Geelong and the Ds. Yeah, this will be a massive game, especially for Caden McDonald. Imagine if the Ds and the Cats played off in a granny. He'd just be... I don't know what he'd be thinking, but yeah, this is going to be the grand final that I predict, and I'll go through them quarter by quarter. So first quarter, we've got the Ds leading by 7 points. I think they'll start the game off strong. At halftime, the scoring dries up a little bit, but the Ds extend their lead by a couple points, leading it by 9 points at halftime. Then I have the Cats having a massive third quarter, kicking 5 goals to 2 to snatch the lead and go into the final break up by 11 points. And in one of the best grand finals of recent memory that I'm predicting, the Cats will hold on to win the grand final by 4 points in one of the great grand finals you'll ever see. And as the Cats finally get their first premiership since 2011, and one they've been craving for a long time, considering their list is aging. And if they drop it this year, then who knows if they'll have another crack at it. And it'd almost be better off if they don't win it this year, because the fans won't be able to go, and I don't know if it'll be the same. But the Cats are my 2021 AFL Grand Final winners, even after dropping that game against the Ds in round 23. And my Norm Smith, Patrick Dangerfield, he's going to carry the Cats. He's the reason for their turnaround at halftime, for them kicking 5 goals. 36 touches and 2 goals is my prediction. I'm probably not going to get these right, so you can look back on these after the finals have been played out to see how wrong I was. But yeah, comment down your finals predictions, and I wouldn't mind having a look at them to see what you guys think. Thanks guys for watching. Stay tuned for more finals videos coming out throughout the week and the following weeks, and I'll see you guys soon in my next video.